Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G. It's 2 p.m. on May 16th, and I'm going to do a little presentation on chart pattern breakouts and retests. And this is part of a larger presentation that I'm working on as well, which has a piece of volume price analysis in it, which I will kind of gloss over a little bit. It sounds exciting, doesn't it? Which I'll gloss over a little bit, but just understand that it's part of a larger piece that I'm trying to build that we'll talk about how to analyze that volume and price on a breakout. So I'll tell you when we get there. So this is about breakouts and retests. Hey, G Trader, how are you? So when we talk about breakouts and retests, we first need to understand our chart patterns, right? And I picked a couple of chart patterns here to start, and we'll see if you guys can identify these chart patterns. Those of you who obviously can identify them, Donald, you stay quiet for just a minute and see if everybody else can guess these. Whatever. What about this chart pattern there? Yeah, you can go full speed. That's fine. Can anybody give me that one? Ascending wedge or ascending triangle, right? Okay, that was an easy one. How about this one? Yep. Descending triangle or descending wedge, right? How about that one? Head and shoulders. These are easy, right? And then that one. Right? Inverted head and shoulders. So I picked these four patterns because they're very easy to spot. They're patterns that we play in this room quite a bit. And the ascending, descending triangles are some of Donnie's favorites. So I put those in there as a way for us to honor that, right? So within these chart patterns, each pattern, that one's called Two Rabbits in the Tree. So the ascending triangle breakout of the ascending wedge, which way does this one usually break? Not always, but typically. Right. This one breaks up. But what else does it need to break up? Jim, nice. Yes. This has to break out on volume, right? And you'll see that volume come in as that breakout happens. Jojo, nice. So all of these patterns need to break out on volume, right? And that's going to be one of your confirmation signals that the breakout is happening, okay? Both bullish and bearish, or that a breakout is potentially happening, okay? And these are all kind of basics that most of us kind of know and understand, but just watching the pattern break is not the full confirmation. You have to get that pattern break on volume, right? So most of us understand that. But how do we know a strong breakout versus a weak breakout? So what are our confirmation signals, right? Well, we already discussed that we need to visually see the pattern break and we need to break out on volume, right? But how do we know whether we have a strong breakout on volume, like here on the left, or if we have a weak breakout or a fake breakout, a fake out, as when Donald tells us it's strong? Yeah, that's funny, Crunchy. I like that. When Donnie says, we go, right? Or a weak breakout, as you can see on the same volume. right? And this is the piece where the volume price analysis comes in, which I'm kind of going to gloss over a little bit because that section of the presentation isn't quite complete, which is why I altered the title slightly to talk about retests. But the difference between a strong breakout, traders in the house. What's up, buddy? Yeah, candle pattern along with volume. He comes in at the 9th hour, at the 11th hour with the right answer. So if we're looking at an ascending triangle, this is a strong breakout on high volume. And what tells you? You're quite and what tells you that? Right? Well, the candle and the volume and the breakout level all give you a strong signal that you've got the push up and through that you wanted. As you can see, the little doji candle I've put in there, because the next slide will also have the same doji, but it'll show what a weak breakout is. So you see the high volume area. I don't know, you probably can't see my cursor because I'm in presentation mode. The high volume area on the breakout with a candle confirming the buying because it's closing near its highs, right? You can see the cursor? Great. So it's closing near its highs. It's strong. It's a big green candle on volume through a breakout level. That's a good, strong breakout. That's a third confirmation. Okay. This breakout is a weak breakout or a fake breakout, depending on what happens in the next couple of candles. And these are key because if you're watching the breakout and you're watching the volume, you're going to think, or you could think, right? Okay, this is it. This is the break. And this is pretty extended. That would be a nice little scalp for Donald, but a lot of us aren't really in here in and out as quick as he is. And you really want to make sure that that breakout is confirmed in more ways than one. Okay, so you have the break of the level. Obviously, we all know this is usually a volume profile level as well. But then the market makers run it up, right? What happens in this candle? We get this push up, and then we immediately get the flush down. If this was a 1-minute chart, we would know that we broke that level. The market makers tried to get buyers to come in by pushing that price up, and then it immediately either was met with no buying, right, which the volume level would be a little bit lower, or it was immediately stuffed, and the volume down here is also high because it immediately got sold into, right? And we have the same doji candle, but this to me is a weak breakout on high volume, right? They just got stuffed. And where this will probably end up going is back into the pattern or a breakdown of the pattern. And it all comes down to the analysis of that volume candle. Of the actual candle and the volume together that helps you understand whether this is a really confirmed strong breakout or a weak one. And this part of the presentation is where I'm kind of glossing over because much more needs to be added to that volume price analysis with candles. But what I really wanted to talk about was pattern breakouts and retests. So what if I missed the breakout or only scalped the break for a couple of cents here or there, and I'm not in the trade anymore. I scalped it or I missed it. So can you still get into the trade? Most of these patterns will give you a retest. Sometimes two. Okay, so you want to enter, if you like the pattern, it looks like a strong breakout of the pattern, you're going to enter at the retest. So here on the head and shoulders, you get the breakdown and then the retest. On the inverse head and shoulders, you get the breakout and the retest. And that previous resistance becomes support, or previous support becomes resistance. That's your enter spot. The descending triangle, same thing. And this is the area that I think people miss a lot, is they see a pattern break and they say, okay, I missed it. There's not really a place for me to enter. And I found a lot of success in the retest. A lot of times when the pattern breaks, you'll get a quick 1 minute candle wick back for entry if you feel like it's a strong chart. But a lot of times, and most times, you will get a retest of that area within 3 to 4 to 5 minutes if you're playing a 1 minute chart. But those are great places to enter because you're not chasing. You're not chasing the break. You've had time to analyze the volume and analyze the chart itself and confirm that that's a trade that you find valid and there's good risk reward level at those retest areas, and then just wait patiently for it to come back. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just go and, okay, you missed a trade. But more often than not, they're going to come back and they're going to retest. So that was my that kind of goes quick, but that was my pattern breakout and retest presentation. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, please, Donald, please. Yep. It's psychology, human psychology, right? Like these. Yeah, like this one. Waiting on those guys to stop out. Right. Yeah. Right. It makes a ton of sense, and something I'd like to add to the this portion of the presentation that's not quite built out yet is that psychology piece and the market maker piece. It's perfect. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the breakout and retest entry points for patterns, or anything about market makers and psychology and stuff like that? Uh, Validation of the retest for me, Crunchy is more has to do with the breakout or breakdown happen on volume, and was it sustained enough? So, I mean, if we go back to the this chart here, like Donnie was referencing, uh, did it finish high? Did it push through on volume and hold for a minute, or was it quite weak? And then you're just using that level again, that support level, that resistance level that is now support, as a good risk reward spot. So um, usually by the time you get to the retest, that the move has been mostly validated for me. Um, sometimes I'll think the move has come, and so I'll try and jump in a little early on what I think is quote unquote a retest, and it's really not. And then either it was just a support level test, or I needed to wait longer and be more patient for the pattern to actually play itself out and get the retest. But the retest pattern works on VWAP breaks, um, volume level breaks that aren't set up in a pattern. Uh, if you're watching and you've got your levels very clear, when you get up above a certain level, you'll generally get a retest of that level, just to make sure the market makers are, there's buying coming in, and then some people are taking profits, but then the market makers are making sure that that level is, there's value in that level, and so they'll bring it back and then and then the buyers will come in, and then ideally off you go, or sellers, depending on which direction you're going. All right, well, that's it for me. If there's no more questions, hope you guys are doing well. OPEX week, lots of chop out there. Play small, stay safe. I'll talk to you all later.